Good morning. Welcome back to 1160 AM KBDT News Talk Sports. Don't forget to tune in to News from a Christian Perspective. That's right. Point of view today from noon until 2 here on 1160 AM. Currently 8:34.
All right, JP, we've got 66 degrees and sunny here in Dallas currently. We're headed towards a high of, looks like 82 is going to be the high now, and 66 will be the low. Today sunny, tomorrow umbrella time.
Umbrella time. Well, I'll tell you what, it's umbrella time now, and we definitely need some expert advice on how to handle it, and that's why we have every Tuesday our mental health moment brought to you by the Something for Kelly Foundation and the Morgan Foundation. Steve and Patty, good morning.
Good morning, John and Kathy. How are you all today?
Well, okay, you opened up the door. We're partying and rocking and rolling and whatnot.
Rocking and rolling and whatnot.
You know, I get the partying and the rocking and rolling, but what exactly is whatnot?
Oh, I'll have to tell you offline. It's a line from the movie Grease, and JP likes to butcher it to make me crazy.
Oh, okay. That works.
Good evening, JP, Kathy, and the crew.
Good evening.
Hey, I'm all about that too. Good evening, Stephen. Do you have your smoking jacket on?
Oh, absolutely. I'm on London time right now.
Yeah, I'm on London time. And then I am very excited to bring to the mental health moment and to bring to the show one Amanda Franklin. Good morning, Amanda.
Good morning, JP.
Okay, and Amanda,
everyone else.
Well, okay, I was about to say, Amanda, the crew is listening, I promise.
Okay.
Amanda is a personal development and life coach. I need to probably offline get her hired so she can help me personally develop and I can get a life. And so, Amanda, thank you so much for joining us. Tell us a little bit about yourself. What is a life coach? What is a personal development coach?
Well, that's just the route that I went. So I have several degrees in counseling and psychology. So I've got a bachelor's in psychology, master's in psychology, master's in counseling. And with most people, there's a lot of stigma around going to a mental health professional. So I just elected to go the coaching route. And in personal development, what I really do is just work on becoming the person that we want to be, overcoming patterns, overcoming our own thinking and belief systems, and interpersonal dynamics within family systems. So that's kind of where I like to focus my work.
So, Amanda, when we are talking about your work, I know that you have a lot of area of expertise in family therapy. Can you talk about that, and what does that involve?
Yeah, definitely. In the family system side, I work on each individual person within their system. So, for example, if I'm working with parents and perhaps mom is a little more controlling and wants everyone to do things the way she wants them to do, as opposed to allowing children the room to express themselves and to grow into their own unique beings, we kind of work internally on what's driving those factors in her. Or if there's communication breakdown in a partnership, I'll begin to kind of address what is going on individually with each person. So in the therapeutic role of a family, when you look at it from an entire system, each person kind of plays their own part. And so I'll work individually with one or multiple members of a family to allow them to grow in their own process, while as a unit they're working with someone else in a family systems area.
Amanda, you mentioned something about a potential breakdown, and in today's world right now, with everybody being either quarantined or isolated in a lot of different ways, how is that breakdown manifesting around domestic violence?
Well, right now we can look and we can kind of see we're in the perfect storm for domestic violence. There is an increase in just uncertainty all around us. Fear for a lot of people is kind of through the roof right now. The reasons for that could be unemployment or underemployment or uncertainty of what's to come. We're all kind of trapped together, so there's this perfect pressure cooker in the home going on where people are not necessarily have the same opportunities to go out and have freedom. Texas itself has had the highest rate of alcohol sales during quarantine, and that is a definite factor in domestic and child abuse. So I would say that those are some of the things that are going on right now as we see kind of this perfect manifestation of circumstances for abuse to really become rampant.
Amanda, at the same time, we seem to be having an alarming rise in domestic violence. You used a phrase yesterday that really did a great job of describing it. Can you go into why the rise is happening right now?
Well, I think it kind of boils down to some of the things that we just talked about. We are in the home together. If there's already been poor communication systems, everything is going to be intensified right now. If there is a system of blame, something is going to be someone's fault. If there is a system of aggression, and that's the coping skill within someone, that's only going to become more predominant. When we throw all this fear and uncertainty into an already volatile situation, it's like adding fuel to the fire. When we look at the control factor that's often seen in both domestic partner abuse and domestic child abuse, everyone's feeling out of control, so those that are searching for the need of control are going to do everything they can to exert it, including applying more control to the people around them.
Well,
now,
and Steve, if I can interrupt real quick. So what do you do if you're in a situation like this? Now, obviously, 911, and we want women to know, or if anybody being abused, child, spouse, whatever the case may be, that shelter in place doesn't mean you have to stay trapped in your home. So, but let's say it's not to the physical abuse part. The emotional abuse is pretty rough, but you can somewhat take it. What do you recommend to someone like that? Just hang on until everything opens back up, or what do you say?
Well, I would not recommend anyone hanging on. And I think that you made a good point that there's more than just physical abuse. There's emotional abuse. There's financial abuse if someone has control of every amount of money you spend.
Yes.
I recently spoke with a woman whose partner was dictating when she could go to the bathroom and when she could shower. I was recently someplace where someone took the phone. We were in line at a public bathroom, and someone stood there and demanded the phone because they didn't want their partner having a phone. So
like when they went to the bathroom and they were away from them?
Yes.
Wow.
And
see,
so
that's
Multiple
frightening.
types of abuse. Yes. And so we're going to provide some resources at the end of the call for people to be able to reach out. But there's lots of just therapeutic resources. There's coaches. I'm sure most larger churches have support systems that you can reach out to if you're experiencing these things. So there's multiple avenues for people to begin to reach out.
Thank you.
Amanda, now you also talked about once we get through the COVID-19 here and we start to reintegrate back into life, we talked about that we could be reaching a tipping point in terms of mental health. Can you go into that some?
Well, absolutely. As I'm constantly engaging with my peers, a lot of people are not currently caring for the mental health in the manner that they have been prior to COVID-19. There is so much fear generated right now, some real and some manufactured, regarding leaving your home, being exposed to other people. And I think sometimes we have to outweigh the risk. Is my mental health more important, or is, a small chance of exposure more important? And am I being safe? And people are not reaching out as often prior to COVID-19. And we're starting to see kind of an uptick. People are just beginning to acclimate and understand, okay, this is our new normal right now. But I do think once kind of the green light is given for life again, I do believe that the mental health industry and the recovery industry is going to be just absolutely inundated with people. Anxiety is through the roof right now. Depression's through the roof right now. Calls for suicide and self-harm attempts are through the roof right now, because if you didn't have tools to deal with these things to begin with and you were already in a vulnerable position, this is certainly brought it front and center. And if you are currently receiving care and decided to postpone it for whatever reason, those issues, again, have been amplified. So we're just in a super tense time full of uncertainty. And part of the human condition is we love to know what's going to happen. We love that feeling of control. We like to feel secure. And there's really nothing secure about our environment right now.
So talk a little bit about how they can socialize safely offline or online, or what are some ideas for people to manage this high anxiety?
Well, I do, of course, suggest kind of reaching out. If you're not comfortable reaching out to a mental health professional, of course, reach out to people that are around you. But, I mean, Monday, wasn't it yesterday that they lifted the restriction for state parks? So, you know, get a girlfriend, get a guy friend, head to the park, social distance, wear your mask, and go for a walk. Social connection virtually is all that's available to you. Utilize that. With my kids, sometimes I'll let them bring a friend or two over, and they'll sit in a little circle in the driveway, 6 feet apart, you know, and they'll talk and they'll hang out. This has really impacted our children because their complete social world, or their social world has completely been taken from them. And, you know, scheduling Zoom dates with their friends. You know, my youngest son and his girlfriend had a movie date via FaceTime the other night. But I think as we're allowed to gradually start our social reconnection again, I think parents need to be very diligent about ensuring that their children's social needs are met, as well as the parents. And I also think it's really important that the parents are diligent about personal self-care right now. I know it can be really stressful for adults right now. There's a lot going on, and so I think we need to be, as the adult, as a parent, just as diligent about carving out time for ourselves as well.
You bring up a very important distinction that the needs are different between the children and the adults. And are there any tips that you want to give to parents out there about how to be mindful and creative for socializing with their kids? In addition, what they should look out for as warning signs?
Absolutely. I would say, you know, just tips about socialization. Just be smart. Ask your kids. They'll tell you what they want. I think that my kids are more in tune with the social distancing recommendations than I am. And so they're actually all on board with, Mom, you need a mask. Mom, you need this. And I'm like, hey, I'm fine. I'm a big girl. I'll do it. Maybe that's that whole Gen X thing. But they're the ones that are more in tune. And so they're the ones that will let me know, okay, I would like to do this. I would like to do that. So I would really just encourage parents to ask your kids if they're of that age, how can I help you be social with your friends right now? Can I plan a cookie party with the other moms and we all make cookies together on FaceTime? Or can we all meet at a park and go for a walk together safely? And understand that, no, we can't be on a playground, or no, we can't be on the swings, but we can walk or ride bikes or something along those lines. And then with parents, just the added stress alone, and especially if we're looking at a family system where there has been a history of abuse, you know, and I can tell you I don't know a single parent who isn't a little frustrated at this point. There are many new requirements, needs, demands being placed on both parents, and it can get to anyone. And so go for a walk. Take, you know, if you have little ones and you're not able to get away for 30 minutes and they're napping, nap. You know, don't worry about necessarily the constant American dream of I've got to be productive, I've got to be doing this, I've got to be making banana bread. Whatever the language of today is, I think it's more important that we intuitively tune to what our body is guiding us to do and to what we need. And so I would think that if we're taking care of ourselves, then we're better able to take care of those around us.
A very important point.
So, Amanda, if I can jump in, Patty, if you don't mind, I'd like to jump in for a moment. I have a question for you. So they've come out and they've said schools will not reopen. Schools are going to stay closed for the next 5 weeks. However, the president, the governors, mayors, county commissioners, county judges are saying, we're opening back up for business. Any suggestions on how parents balance that?
You know, that's a big question. I think that we're all kind of scrambling to understand, you know, how to balance this. One, schools are just a little perfect petri dish of, hello?
We're here.
Oh, yeah, you're here.
Okay. Of germs. I don't know if y'all all have kids or not, but I know that as soon as my kids entered into the school system, we got every cold germ
it
virus.
comes through your house, yes.
Yes, and so and today we have a lot of multi-generational homes.
Yes.
So I can understand absolutely why they're electing to do that, and I actually think they'll probably elect to do it further into the fall.
So let's go ahead and go with the why there. And when we come back, Amanda, let's go ahead and answer the what, which is what do parents do with this? They're going to end up having to go back to work potentially, but without their kids in school. And I don't know if daycares are going to open either. Questions that Amanda's going to help us answer here at 1160 a.m. KBDT News Talk Sports. Sorry about that, Amanda. I had to cut you off there.
That's okay. I just was like, is there music?
Yep, there's music. Was it really loud in your ear, or were you good?
It was really loud.
Yeah, I'm really sorry about that. We really can't do anything about it. All you can do is
You're
trust
okay.
trust the board up. The mix was actually, if anything, a little bit light, but going through the phone system, it's very loud. Yeah,
That's fine.
And if
You're
we
doing
could,
a great job, Amanda.
By the way, Miss Franklin, do you have us on a speakerphone?
No, I don't.
Steve, Patty, do either of you have us on a speakerphone?
No.
No, sir.
Okay.
They know the
okay.
rules.
All right, that's cool because I was able to hear the music over the phone, and I'm trying to figure out how that
I
happened.
can hear it through mine too.
Well, no. You'd be able to hear it through the phone, but what I'm trying to figure out is why am I hearing it coming back through the phone? It's either a malfunction on our end, or just a glitch, vagary of the phone system. So don't worry about it. It's just a technical thing I'm working on, and I just needed some evidence. So thank you. You guys sounded great. Go ahead,
Amanda.
Okay.
Amanda, yeah, wonder if you can address. We're on Facebook Live right now. I contacted some parents in the past few days about the amount of access they're allowing their teenage kids to have on the internet at home, and some have found their kids trying to group talk to their friends at 1 a.m., that sort of thing. What reasonable guidelines, if any, should parents have in place to limit their kids' access?
I think that's a wonderful question, and I think that, one, it's a developmental and age-appropriate question. So each kid is going to have its own impact. I can tell you that the more structure kiddos have, the better they're going to do, especially right now when their whole routine has been taken away. And so I would set up a system as I would outline it and try to follow it as closely as possible. So, for example, if in the morning when you wake up and you're having cereal and you want to get online, for those like 10, 12 and under, I'll give you 30 minutes of catch-up time. Then we're going to have some school. We're going to have some outside time. And then some more social time. I think parents need to remember that their whole social world is online, and that's one of the biggest kind of push and pulls of our generation is we're accustomed to calling people, seeing people. We'll meet for brunch and this. I'll have a car full of kids, and they'll all be Snapchatting and texting each other as opposed to communicating. It makes me crazy, but it is what they do. And so, it's 1 o'clock, kids are online, and that's not something you want in your home, then you can shut the internet down. You can collect their electronic devices. I'm more along the lines of let's give them the opportunity to follow the rules, understanding they're going to bend them a little bit, like all humans do. But if they're managing their activities and they're performing at a level that you're happy with, then I try to give kids a little bit more freedom. And so it's just a really unusual time right now.
Excuse me?
So I'm more...
Excuse me, Amanda. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt you, Ms. Amanda, but could you speak a little bit louder, please?
Absolutely.
And
I
this
just
is-
think more along the lines of
This is a very
let's-
short. This is a very short segment. So if you can give shorter answers, that'd be great.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
And JP, would we come back on the air? Why
10
don't you
seconds.
re-ask your question?
Good morning. Welcome back to 1160 a.m. KBDT News Talk Sports. We have the Mental Health Moment, and it's brought to us by our sponsor, Acadia Health. Find out what's bugging you. Reach out for peace of mind. Contact Chris Getz at Acadia Healthcare at 469-400-7499. Proud sponsor of the Mental Health Moment right now as we speak. We've got Amanda Franklin joining us along with the Something for Kelly Foundation and the Morgan Foundation with Steve and Patty. Good morning to all three.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
All right, there's Amanda. All right, so Amanda, again, let me reiterate my question. So, the governor and county judges, commissioners are opening the state back up for business, but shut the schools down for the school year. Goodness gracious, what do parents do? I mean, how do we prepare ourselves mentally for that, even as parents have to go back to work?
We've got a lot to learn right now. I think more than ever, one of the cool things that this whole experience is giving us is an opportunity to reconnect with those around us and reach out and say, hey, I need a little help. Hey, Mom 1 and 2, how are you managing your day, and how can we perhaps switch off, trade off? What can we do to support each other as we go? I think that allowing, one, helping someone, and two, ourselves to receive the gift of support from someone, it's just something that's going to become our new normal. I don't think there's any solid answers right now about what we're going to do, how we're going to manage that. I think that, necessity is the mother of all invention, and we're going to figure it out as we go.
I think you're right. And here's the thing. It's dealing with the unknown. And again, that's why it's so important to do a check on your mental health. Because when you have unknown things in your life, and especially like we all have right now, that weighs heavy on anyone's emotional and mental health. I don't care if you've never had depression or anxiety before, you probably experiencing it now for the first time.
And not even that, where there's a ton of grief. Just going through the grief. We can't be with our loved ones. We're just grieving their situation in general. There's a lot of emotions at play right now.
Amanda, so for those people who are listening right now, where can they go to find hope? What resources are there out there that people can reach out and either get your very low cost, just avenues of hope?
There are really a lot of resources available. I said this, which will be shared later by y'all. But Mental Health America and have tons of resources that are available for free in both English and Spanish. Mom and Me classes, specific for the mom that has young kids at home, and providing an outlet and support and tools. For those who are in an abusive situation, there's a whole list of resources that are going to be provided. One of the really unique things I've seen floating around the internet, if you're in a situation and you can't reach out, send me a message and ask me if I'm selling, whatever. And if you need the police to be called, send your address and make it look like I'm actually going to send you something. And I think most people have seen that at this point. Yeah. And so I think we're creating what our world will be as we go. There is, there's Children's Advocacy Center of Denton County. It provides tons of resources for children. They're constantly updating as they evolve as well. Try this with your kids, or what's going on. And I think one thing we need to keep in mind, too, with our kids, their acting out isn't going to look like ours. They don't have the exact same communication skills that we do, nor is their brain completely finished cooking yet.
Right.
So anxiety might look like constant stomach aches. Depression might look like isolation or bugging you constantly, right? I told you I'm on the phone. I need to finish my call, and they're constantly interrupting you. That means I'm begging for your attention. Please give me 5 minutes. And I think us being attentive of those things, that's what's going to help us survive right now, just genuinely tuning into our immediate environment and creating it to be as healthy, nurturing, and loving as can possibly be each day.
So, Amanda, I think you've brought up a lot of really good points that should be emphasized: collaborative, compassionate, cooperative. These are the words that are going to get the family through these times.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank y'all so much. And Amanda, we really appreciate you. And as always, Steve and Patty, we appreciate you. And we can't wait to get y'all back in studio. We don't like socially distancing from Patty and Steve.
Right?
Thank you guys. We're looking at you now on the show on Facebook streaming, and we're in that room with you.
We can't wait till you're back.
All right, and Amanda, stay with us because we do a little recap and close on Facebook Live so people can continue to pull this up all day and get this great information, okay?
Okay.
All right. Tomorrow is Wednesday. Just a reminder, that does happen. It goes day, Tuesday, Wednesday. For those of you who have lost your days, and we will see you tomorrow.
Which is
be
us.
safe and be blessed.
Stay healthy.
All right, we're back on.
Thank you. So we Facebook Live audience. How can people get in touch with you, Amanda?
You said the Facebook Live.
Oh, doggone it. I aged myself.
Well, you can. My website is afranklincoaching.com. You can find that on Instagram and Facebook as well. And then that's the best way to reach me. You can send an email, and then as well as social media. You can always direct message me on those platforms.
Okay. And if you could hop on JP, Kathy, and the crew at some point today, our Facebook page, we have like 2 little cartoon characters. You go into our Facebook Live feed, part 2, and it says mental health moment on it in all caps. In the comments, put how people get with you in case somebody's in need of your service right now.
Absolutely. I would be honored to do that. Thank you.
Amanda, also, if you can post on that page the list of resources you emailed out either last night or early today, that would be great. Because
I would
we're
be
going
happy to do that.
Capture this and put it up on YouTube and send it around and just try to get out just rays of hope to as many people as we possibly can.
Excellent.
So, all right. Well, guys, next week on the Mental Health Moment, we're going to have Dr. Williamson. He is the medical director at Timberlands up in Lamont, Illinois, and we're going to be talking a lot about not necessarily so much about eating disorders, but it's going to be the co-occurring conditions and how to recognize them and how to treat them. So I'm sure we'll be talking about addiction, anxiety, and stress, and depression, and how to recognize and address those.
Boy, how is that?
Absolutely. Patty, do you have anything else?
That's in constitutional republic.
I'm just very happy that we had to work with Amanda today.
Definitely,
I think it's very
definitely.
important that what she did.
Yeah.
Well, I really like that she is holistic. She has a holistic approach, and I think it's real important the way it's going to work going forward, as earlier. So I think it's the mind-body combination that is going to be critical to get us through. So we need more of that.
I have to hire Amanda to help me out.
Absolutely.
Yes,
I would love.
you are.
Steve, yes, you are.
Yeah.
And one
like
and
mad.
one, I want to give a shout out to Philip Van Gilder. We had him on the show this past fall.
Yes.
Philip is the one who introduced us to Amanda and suggested we bring her on the show. And Amanda, you did a fabulous job. I'm going to make sure Philip knows that.
Thank you, Phil. So, well, thank you all for letting me be on.
Thank you, and you stay healthy. We appreciate
All right,
you.
Till next
All right.
week.
Till next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys.
Take
Ciao.
care.
Love.
All right. Well, there you go.
We'll see y'all tomorrow.
Another mental health.
I know. Love it. That was all great advice. I mean, we could do every day a mental health moment. Right now, we're desperate for that human contact. Be social with each other.
We are.
You know. All right. Love y'all. Have
All
a
right.
great day.
Have a great day.